in the system analysis and design. In the fourth unit, the topic is training. Training is given to the user how to use this system. The person in the system must know the details, what the roles will be and how they can use the system, what the system will or will not be, the success or failure of well designed and the technically system can depend on the way they are operated and the use. Training system operator must be trained properly such that they can handle all the possible operation, both routine and the extraordinary. The operator should be trained in what common malfunctioning may occur, how to recognize them and what steps to take what they come. Training involves creating troubleshooting lists to identify the possible problem and remedies for them, as well as names and the telephone numbers of the individual to contact when unexpected or unusual problems arises. Training also involves the familiarization with run procedure, which involves working through the sequence of the activities needed to use a new system. The user training, the user training. The end user training is an important part of the computer-based information system development, which must be provided to employees to enable them to do their own problem solving. User training involves how to operate the equipment, how to operate the computer, how to handle the computer operation, how to the troubleshooting the system problem in the system, many types of the problem that troubleshoot the system, determining whether the problem that are caused by the equipment or the software, the problems are related to the software or the hardware. They must be firstly identified. Most user training deals with the operation of the system itself. The training courses must be designed to help the user with the fast mobilization for the organization. The training guidelines, establishing measurable objectives, using appropriate training method, selecting suitable training sites, and the employing understandable the training material. Next, various types of the training methods are used. Training methods are used. First is instruction-led training. Instruction-led training. It involves both trainers and trainee, which have to meet at the time but not necessarily at the same place. The training session could be one-to-one or collaborative. It has two types. First is virtual classroom use. Second is normal classroom. Virtual classroom, in the training, trainer must meet the trainees at the same time but are not required to be at the same place. The primary tools are used such as video conferencing, text-based internet relay chat tools or virtual reality package. It is based on the virtual basis. In the virtual basis, using video conferencing, text-based internet relay chat tools in this way. Second is normal classroom. In the normal classroom, the trainers must meet the trainer at the same time at the same place. The primary tools use the blackboard, overhead projector and the LCD projector. In the virtual classroom, use the video conferencing, text-based internet chat tools and at the basis of the virtual basis. Next is self-paced training. Self-paced training, it involves both trainers and trainees who do not need to meet at the same place or at the same time. The trainers learn the screen themselves by accessing the courses at their own convenience. It is of two types. First is multimedia training. First is multimedia training and second is web-based training. Second is web-based training. Multimedia training, in this training courses are presented in the multimedia format stored at the CD-ROM. It minimizes the cost in developing and in-house training course without assistance from the external programmer. Multimedia training, in this training courses are presented in the multimedia format stored on CD-ROM. It minimizes the cost in developing in-house training course without assistance from the external programmer. Next is web-based training. In this training, courses are often presented in a hypermedia format developed to support the internet and the intranet. It provides just-in-time training for end user and allow organization to tailor training requirement. To allow organization to tailor the training requirement. Next is post-implementation review. This is the training is given to the user to use the software. Next important topic is post implementation review. Post implementation review, operational system are quickly taken for the granted. Every system requires the periodic evaluation after the implementation. Post-implementation review measures the system performance against the predefined requirement. Unlike system testing, which determine where the system fails so that necessary adjustment can be made, post-implementation review determine how well the system maintains to meet the performance specification and the user requirement. It is done after the design and the conversions are complete. The file conversions are complete. At that time, the post-implementation review at the time. It also provides information to determine whether the major redesign is necessary. Every system requires a periodic evaluation after the implementation. Next is request for the review. Request for the review. The initializing study begins with the review team, which gathers and review requests for the evaluation. It also the files discriminancy notices after the system has been accepted. Unaccepted changes in the system that affect the user or the system performance. It is a primary factor that promotes the system review. Once the request is filleted, the user is asked how well the system is functioning. The suggestion regarding the changes and the improvements are also taken. This phase also sets the stage for the formal post-implementation review. The request for the review, this is the initializing study, begins with the review team which gathers and review the request for the evaluation. It also files the notices after the system has been expected. Next is review plan. This review team prepares a formal review plan around the objective of the review, the types of the evaluation to be carried out, and the time schedule to be required. Which types of the time schedule is required? These types of the review planning is taken. Next is administrative plan. Next is administrative plan. The review groups that affect the operational system on the Administrative procedure of the user. The following activities are reviewed. First is user objective. Second is operating cost and benefit. Operating cost and benefits. User objective. This is an extremely critical area since it is possible that over time either the system fails to meet the user initial objective or the user objective change as a reflection of the change in the organizational objective. It need to think the terms of the problem and the further opportunity. The result of the evaluation are documented for the future reference. Next is operating cost and the benefit. Under the administrative plan, the cost structure of the system is closely revised. It includes review all the cost and the saving, review and the update of the non-cost benefit of all the system and the current budget designed to manipulate the cost and the saving of the system. These types of the two administrative plans are taken for these review groups affect the operational system on the administrative procedure of the user. Next is personal requirement plan. Personal requirement plan. In the personal requirement plan, this plan evaluates all the activities involving system personnel staff as they directly deal with the system. This emphasizes is on productivity and the job satisfaction. After the plan is developed, the review involves the following. First is personal performance. Second is training performance. Personal performance object to compare with the current performance levels. Tiredness of the absentees are also evolved. The results are documented and made available to the maintenance groups. Training performance through the testing, interviews and all parts of the data gathering techniques. The review groups attempt the answer question about the training materials and the employee of the organization and the personal. In this way, the personal requirement plan is decided. This plan evaluates all the activity involving the system personnel and the staff as they directly deal with the system, and then the personal performance and the training performance. These types of the personal requirement plan is decided. Next is hardware plan, and then next is hardware plan. Hardware plan. The hardware of the new system is also revised, including the terminal, CRT screen, software program and the communication network. The primary target is the comparison of the current performance specification. The outcome of the evaluation indicate any differences between the expectation and the realized result. It also points to any necessary modification modifications are necessary in your system. This is also taken in the hardware plan. Next is documentation. Next is documentation review plan. Documentation review plan. The reasons for developing a documentation review plan is to evaluate the accuracy and the completeness of the documentation compiled to date and its conformity with the pre-established documentation standard. Irregularity actions where the changes in the documentation could improve the format and their content. For the reasons for developing documentation review, is to evaluate the accuracy and the completeness of the documentation compiled to date and the conformity with the pre-established documentation standard. The most important topic is software maintenance. Software maintenance. The maintenance means restoring something to its original condition, restoring to its original condition. The enhancements means adding, modifying the code to support the changes, the user specification, user requirement. System maintenance conforms the system to its original requirement, enhances, add to system capability for incorporating the new requirement. New enhancement is also, new modification is also taken in your system. The maintenance changes the existing system. Enhancements add feature to the existing system. Development replace the existing system. It is an important part of the system development that include the activity which corrects the error in system design and the implementation, update the document and the test their data. Maintenance is the system development. It holds the software industry trying up the programming resources. Analysts and the programming spend far more time maintaining the program than they do writing them. Software maintenance is widely accepted part of the SDLC software development life cycle. Nowadays it stands for all the modification and the updating done after the delivery of the software product. There are the number of the reason modifications are required. Some of number of reasons. First is market condition. First is market condition. Policies which changes over the time, such as taxation and newly introduced constraint like how to maintain the bookkeeping and the many modification. Client requirement. Client requirements. Next is post modification. Post modification, then organization changes. Organization changes. First is market condition. Policy changes over the time, such as taxation and newly introduced constraint. Next is client requirement. Over the time, customer may ask for the new feature or functions in the software. Host modification, if any of the hardware and our platform of the target host changes, software changes are needed to keep the adaptability. Organization changes, if there are any business level changes at the client end, such as the reduction of the organization standard, acquiring another company, and the organization venturing into the new business, need to modify the original software may arise. Next important is types of maintenance. Next is types of maintenance. In the software lifetime, types of the maintenance vary based on its nature. It may be just routine maintenance tasks, some bug discovered by some user, or it may be larger event executed based on the maintenance size and the need. Following the some types of the maintenance. First is corrective maintenance. Second is adaptive maintenance. Third is perfective maintenance. Fourth is preventive maintenance. First is corrective maintenance. This includes modification and updating done in order to correct or fix the problem which are either discovered by the user or concluded by the user error report. Second is adaptive maintenance. This includes modification and updating applied to keep the software produced up to date and turn to the ever-changing world of the technology and the business environment. Next is the corrective maintenance. This includes modification and updates done in order to keep the software usable over the long period of time. It includes new feature and the new user requirement for the software and improve its reliability and the performance. Next is the preventive maintenance. This includes the modification and updation to prevent the future problems of the software. It aims to attain the problems which are not significant at this moment but may cause the serious issues in the future. There are four types of the maintenance is taken in the software maintenance. Today close your session. Thank you.